What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the channel and another playoff matchup. Just a quick reminder, like, subscribe, comment. You guys know all those things. I've responded to every comment on my YouTube channel up to this point, and I intend to keep on doing so. I'm not going to waste any more of your time. Let's go talk about basketball. All right, OKC and Dallas. This is going to be a really interesting one. You've got a very inexperienced team in general here, the young Oklahoma City Thunder, the 1 seed, right? Awesome. A little bit more playoff experience here for the Dallas Mavericks guys like Kyrie Irving won championships. Luka's had deep runs, right? Tim Hardaway Jr. and Josh Green have been on those teams with him. Derek Jones, he's been on a Miami Heat team that's been pretty good. But guys like Gafford never been in the playoffs. Derek Lively's a rookie, right? PJ Washington's never been in the playoffs. So, some interesting experience gaps there. But overall, going to be a very, very interesting matchup. If we can just talk about like general play style at first. In the first round, the Dallas Mavericks really had to adjust their scheme. When they were playing slow, it was not working for them. They had to let Kyrie get up and start the offense a little bit more. They got on Luka to make sure that he was starting offense a little bit quicker, and that kind of died out a little bit towards the end of the series, and that didn't look quite as good, but hopefully they can kind of get back into it because I think that's how you get everyone else involved in Dallas, and that stagnant offense just doesn't really work well for them. Whereas the Oklahoma City Thunder didn't have to make any adjustments. They just took care of the Pelicans, who didn't have Zion Williamson, but they're like, no, we're just going to keep on driving and cutting. Lou Dort's going to hit threes. Jalen Williams is going to make every transition layup, and Shea can make any shot whenever. Combine that with like the Case and Wallace's out there playing great defense off the bench. Chet doing his thing. It's just everything worked for them. Let's talk about matchups here. The first one, these two are definitely going to match up against each other, so I think that that's pretty evident that that's how it's going to go. Chet guarding Daniel Gafford. Daniel Gafford in the first round, guarded by Ivica Zubac and Mason Plumlee a lot in the first round. He kind of got outmuscled at times, right? And it was a real struggle for them to get rebounds. This time, there's nobody here that's going to really be competing to get rebounds from. So how many second chance points can guys like Gafford and Derek Lively get for the Mavericks, right? That could be a big thing because when you have, these are the best two scorers out there, right? Like Shea, really, really good as well. He's a close third, but it's these two guys, right? It's Kyrie and it's Luka at the end of the day. Again, really, really close third. These could be the best three just like scorers in the NBA in all honesty. But any second chance points you get to Dallas could be really, really dangerous, and it's worrisome that OKC doesn't have a way to stop some of these big men from crashing. I can't imagine a world where Dallas isn't just crashing the offensive glass as much as possible. I know OKC likes to get out and run, but I'd rather take my chances just getting second chance points for Kyrie and Luka and really demoralizing the young Thunder. On the other hand, how's Daniel Gafford going to guard Chet Holmgren, who's going to be out on the perimeter doing his drive and cut thing with the rest of everybody else? Going to be an interesting one, right? We didn't see him go out on the perimeter at all really in the last series because it was Mason Plumlee and Zubac and guys like that. So how is he going to do with that if he gets put in pick and roll situations where his guy's the ball handler? How is he going to handle that? Going to be really interesting. Let's take a look at this matchup here. I think we're going to stay pretty congruent all the way up. PJ Washington will be on J-Dub. PJ Washington, pretty comfortable going out on the perimeter and everything. He even guarded James Harden at points in the last series. Wasn't like great at all times at guarding James Harden. Not many people are, but they also had Maxi Kleber like guarding the paint. So Harden just kept being able to float it right over everybody, so that doesn't help. But J-Dub's going to be on the attack. He's going to be strong. PJ Washington's got some size on him. That should be an advantage. PJ Washington can shoot over him, but is he going to be able to keep up in transition when J-Dub really gets going and then he starts hitting his threes, right? Because he always makes a nice progression through the game. He always starts out in transition and then he starts shooting the shots, right? Let's go to this one. This one's pretty basic, not going to take long to cover. Derek Jones Jr. and Lou Dort, very similar players, kind of the undersized forwards on the team. Derek Jones Jr. a little bit more athletic. Lou Dort going for a few more rebounds and stuff like that. Both of them, nice three-point shooters. Derek Jones Jr. loves the corner shots. Lou Dort likes the wing. So kind of just the spacing wings that are going to be really, really tough, really good defensively. They'll probably be on each other. This one's interesting to me. This one is very, very interesting to me. Luka and Josh Giddey, right? So here's the thing. Luka doesn't want to play defense if he doesn't have to, right? Like, we all know that. He played pretty good defense in the first round. At points, he got slowed down a little bit at the end. I think he's run out of gas. He seems maybe a little bit injured, so we'll give him some credit there. Kyrie played great defense, right? How's it going to be when the driving and kicking is happening? So if Luka's guy's not involved in it, does he just sag and kind of clog the middle to try to make that drive and kick kind of stop? Do they just let Josh Giddey shoot? Because Josh Giddey's had some nice shooting moments in the first series, so is that going to carry over? I bet you they test it to be like, okay, let's see you do it again, right? vice versa. Luka's got a guy that's a decent like height on him, right? Like they're relatively the same height. Josh Giddey might have a little bit on him. He's not nearly as strong, obviously, but kind of an interesting matchup for him to go up against. Two kind of slow-mo, methodical players. So I'm going to be very curious to see what they do with this, but I'm going to guess that Luka is going to get to float a little bit more in this series again, which is what he likes. Hopefully Luka can get in the attack mode a little bit more, because again, he looked a little bit hurt in that last game. Like he wasn't really able to get going and really push his way all the way towards the hoop to get some kickouts to guys like Jones Jr. and PJ Washington like he did in the previous couple games. So hopefully that maintains itself. And now this one's going to be interesting. These two might just wear each other out. I'm very curious to see Kyrie against Shea, because Kyrie's on-ball defense has been so good these playoffs. I've never seen Kyrie Irving play this level of defense. Like he looks like an absolutely elite on-ball defender. So cool to see. These two guys probably can't guard each other though. Like in all honesty, like Kyrie might be too small for Shea, and Kyrie might be too shifty for Shea. So just is what it is, right? But I'm just curious to see these guys go up against each other. Obviously, there's a bit of a height and a speed disadvantage there, but holy cow, is it going to be good. Looking at the bench, how many people are the Thunder going to play in this series? I'm very curious. I just put the kind of the main three here: Isaiah Joe, Case, and Wallace, probably J-Dub, because they're going to need some size out there, right? But like Aaron Wiggins is going to be out there, right? Gordon Hayward's going to be out there. I know I'm missing a name right now. Why can't I think of it? Yeah, somebody else is going to be out there, because they sometimes play 11 people, right? So there's going to be other dudes out there. Who are they going to be? How deep are they actually going to go? We're very curious about that. As far as like Dallas, Tim Hardaway Jr., Derek Lively, Josh Green, going to be the main guys, right? Maxi Kleba is out for the rest of the season, unfortunately, so you don't have him anymore. That's a tough loss for them, but if they need like another player, maybe they go to like a Jaden Hardy or something like that to try and get a little more offense out there or something like that, but get another ball handler on the court. But otherwise, like, I think they're probably going to keep it to about 8, and maybe someone else slides in like a Dante Exum, something like that, but that's probably like as far as it goes. All right, we're looking at these two teams playing against each other this year. So this is Dallas when they played against OKC this year. So they were minus 6.8 against them. They scored 117 points a game, which is, above league average. That's good. Didn't shoot great against them, in all honesty, so that's something to watch out for. I wonder when these teams played. That's probably something I should have gone to see or whatever, is when they played, because is this pre or post trade deadline? Because that's a very different Dallas Mavericks team at the end of the day. But assists, not too high, not too low for Dallas. Turnovers, a little bit on the high end, so something to kind of watch there. Looking now at OKC versus Dallas, obviously they won 3 out of the 4 matchups. This year they shot 40% against them, so that drive and kick offense really kind of scrambling up Dallas's defense when they don't maybe have as many natural perimeter defenders on the team. A few more assists here, a lot less turnovers. That could be the difference right there in itself. Like, what's the rebounding difference? 45 and 45. Okay, so they are literally like exactly even with each other in terms of rebounding. So again, I'd be curious to see, like, when did these teams like actually play each other this year? Okay, so they played them once in December and then in February. When is the NBA trade deadline? I don't even... trade deadline regrets. That's not what I want. Oh, that was a video that I did at one point. When was the trade deadline date? It was February 8th. Okay, so they won the one post the trade deadline. So were the rest of them after that then? They were. Okay, interesting. So they played 3 out of the 4 post deadline, and they did have that little stretch there where this team wasn't quite like clicking for a little bit, so maybe it was within that stretch. But either way, OKC had the advantage. They shot really, really well against them. I'm guessing that drive and kick thing just really got these boys scrambled, and they were just hitting threes, because that's what they like to do. OKC doesn't take a lot of threes, but they make a lot of threes, right? So they're very efficient with it. They want to get to the rim first. We know that's their objective, but how are they going to be come playoff time if these guys get a little more physical and a little more defensive with them? When Daniel Gafford's bumping Chet Holmgren, Derek Lively, is going to be competing against Chet, because they're both, well, not technically rookies for Chet. Like, well, technically Chet's a rookie, but he's not a rookie. Derek Lively's going to be going at him because he wants to prove something to him. I'm very curious to see it. I hope Josh Green gets a few more minutes in this series, because I think his energy would go a long way in it, but we'll see at the end of the day. If I have to give a prediction for this series, I genuinely don't know. I could see this series going to 7, in all honesty. Like, I really could, just because, like, if the Mavs are smart, which a lot of times Jason Kidd just really isn't, unfortunately, like, I feel like they just attack the glass as much as possible, get Luka and Kyrie as many shots as possible, and eventually you're going to win the game, right? But also, I don't know if they have the defensive talent to necessarily keep up with the Thunder. But you know what? Give me Dallas in 7. Give me Dallas in 7. That's who I want to take. I don't trust the young Bucks. I just don't trust them enough, but I think they're going to put up a hell of a fight because they always do. And I want to see after a loss if they all still stand together and do the post-game interviews, because I want to see it. I want to see them maintain that, because I think that'd be tight as hell if they did. But anyway, you guys let me know what you think of this series and everything. I can't wait to watch this on Tuesday. I'll make sure to get up the other one. I can't remember what other series I'm missing. It's Cavaliers-Boston, so I'll put that up tomorrow or whatever. But until then, we'll see you guys later. Thanks so much.